We need to talk about the Luna 6 livestream, and honestly, I don't even know where to start. Because why was it glitching in the beginning? Are they changing the loading screen or something? Dornland Port is finally releasing after 5 years of being teased, and we're seeing Jane and Barbara's father for the first time in-game, and finally Asmoday's Temple of Space. After Nodcry, it feels like lore drop after crazy lore drop. But out of everything in this livestream, the thing that grabbed me the most was the Temple of Space. Because I think it tells us a lot of things. What kind of god Asmodee actually is, and what her plan might be. Most players know Asmodee as the infamous god from the opening cutscene. She is the ruler of space, one of the 4 shades created by the Heavenly Principles, after they descended to Teyvat from outer space and went to war with the 7 sovereigns. She is the one who stopped the Traveler and their sibling when they tried to leave Teyvat during the Cataclysm. She called herself the sustainer of Heavenly Principles, condemned the arrogation of mankind, and then attacked them with dark red cubes that look a lot like the cubes seen during Conria's destruction. Because of her, the Traveler fell into a 500-year sleep, and by the time they woke up, their powers were sealed and their sibling was gone. Meanwhile, the sibling had already awakened long before and gone on to become the leader of the Abyss Order. Asmodee's current whereabouts are unknown, even to the other shades. Istaroth speculated that she may have switched sides, and Renova basically says she would never do that unless she loved her new master more than herself. That line has been living in my head ever since the God's Limits teaser. The last time we even see Asmodee is during the Travelers meeting with their sibling in Natlan during the Space and Time for You Archon quest. A portal closes at the end, like she may have been eavesdropping on the conversation. So Luna 6 is giving us a mysterious new realm called the Temple of Space. And it looks like it may be giving us a trail that leads directly to the missing shade.
We interrupt this lore spiral to bring you news from today's sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by Aniva. Aniva makes topping up your favorite games ridiculously easy, and yes, they've got all the Hoyoverse titles including Genshin Impact. Here's how it works. Just search Genshin Impact on Aniva's top-up page, choose the server you play on, and enter your UID. And boom, that's it. No login and no password required. It's quick, simple, and you still get your top-up delivered instantly. And the best part? Aniva's cashback system. You can get 10% back from your top-up. For example, if I buy this Primogem pack, I can go to orders and hit claim, and 10% cashback gets added to my account. Then that balance just sits there ready to use on your next top-up for you to use on future pulls. If you want to use Aniva for your Columbina and future Nodcry pulls, use the link in the description and pinned comment down below. Thank you once again, Aniva, for sponsoring today's video. The way we get to the Temple of Space is actually insane. The New World quest starts at the Sanitarium in Dornland Port, where there's a Barbados statue that opens a path to the sky. That instantly caught my attention because for years, the community has talked about the Teyvatian script at the base of the Animo Archon statue in Mondstadt. When translated, it means Gateway of Celestia. Now, we finally see something like that happen for real, except instead of taking us straight to Celestia, this portal leads us to the Temple of Space. It's described as a repository of fragments created by Asmodee, essentially her museum. Different parts of the temple are made up of elevated landscapes taken from different civilizations across Teyvat and preserved there. It's an amalgamation of many civilizations, all cut up and stored in one place. Even the gameplay seems built around manipulating space inside this realm. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we get to play with time too. Imagine getting to Conria and swapping between the past and present to solve puzzles and stuff. But the thing that really makes me suspicious was one of the reasons we're going into the temple in the first place. There's a girl named Zeitlind who needs help finding an important relative. Okay, sure, Istaroth. The name Zeitlind might have come from Zeitl, a Yiddish name meaning child of Zeitl, and also of Zeit, meaning time. So put it together and it means child of time. Istaroth, you're not so slick. Istaroth is the goddess of time and the 1,000 winds. Venti himself used to be a wind sprite before becoming an Archon, and one of his abilities was shapeshifting. The form he uses now was modeled after the nameless bard. So if Venti as a wind spirit could do that, then I wouldn't put it past Istaroth to be able to do something similar. And if Zeitlind really is Istaroth in NPC form, then that would mean the goddess of time is actively searching for Asmodee. And honestly, that would make perfect sense because Asmodee is missing. The Shades don't know where she is, and it's implied she betrayed Celestia and now serves a new master. Which brings us to the question I keep coming back to. Who is Asmodee's new master? There aren't many people who make sense so far. For a while, one possibility I kept brushing aside was the Traveler's sibling, but there's not much evidence backing it up. The only connection I could find was that they both seem to be against Celestia as of now. But then the trailer may have revealed some new quote-unquote evidence. Because look at what the Temple of Space actually is. It is full of preserved fragments of ancient civilizations. That means, theoretically, if a civilization were to be destroyed, traces of it could still exist here. My mind immediately went to Conria. Because what if Asmoday preserved part of it? What if she captured its space or saved a snapshot of it before it was fully lost? The Traveler's sibling is currently in the process of recreating Conria. The sibling was said to have used the memories of surviving Conrians and Minsleif, poor guy, to form a new Conria, but it still needs something crucial. A physical place in the world where its ley lines can rest and where that recreation can truly take hold. So I can't help but wonder whether Asmoday and the sibling could be working together in some way. Asmoday would be the one being in Teyvat most associated with the power to carve out and preserve space itself. One of the watchers in the temple says this place exists only to preserve. All innovation, all evolution is forbidden here. His name is Melanta, which resembles Melanta, a name associated with a dark flower or black blossom. But it also makes me think of Melantho from Greek mythology, the disloyal maidservant in the Odyssey who betrayed Penelope. All of this could be a literary nod to the possibility that Asmoday truly betrayed Celestia. Melanta is a watcher guarding the temple during Asmoday's absence, and we're told he did not descend into the mortal world, but he has descended into madness. His design really resembles the Heavenly Principles, except with the single wing and halo. It'd be wild if that was hinting at a future fight between the Traveler and the Heavenly Principles, and somehow Asmoday was prepping us for it. Before Luna 6, all we really knew about Asmoday was that she could seal people away and control space. But what does that actually mean? Now with Luna 6, it suggests that the space in Genshin doesn't just mean physical location. It could also mean an assigned place, a fixed role, the space something is allowed to occupy within Teyvat's system. And if that's true, then Asmoday may have been one of the gods making sure everything stayed where it was supposed to, with nothing allowed to grow beyond that limit. That lines up disturbingly well with a much bigger pattern in Genshin's lore. Again and again, Genshin seems to treat certain kinds of change as forbidden. In Sumeru, interfering with human evolution is one of the 6 cardinal sins. In Fontaine, Egeria was punished for creating a new human race without the Heavenly Principles' permission. And the game also treats forbidden knowledge or forces from beyond Teyvat as something the world itself rejects. So when Melanta says innovation and evolution are forbidden in the Temple of Space, we're finally seeing one piece of the ideology behind the Heavenly Principles more clearly. As a ruler, she's someone who enforces the rules, and this could be one of them. She was, after all, the sustainer of Heavenly Principles. Maybe she was helping sustain a world where change itself was very regulated, a world where civilizations could exist, but only within certain limits, a world where history could be preserved, but only by being cut off from an unpredictable future. The Temple of Space might reflect Asmoday's old beliefs rather than her current ones. Again, the other shades say she's missing and they suspect treason. Her servants are still maintaining the temple and carrying out its rules, but Asmoday herself is nowhere to be found. So this whole realm might be a leftover structure from the person she used to be and the ideology she once enforced. And if that's the case, then her betrayal becomes a little easier to understand, maybe? Think about it. If Asmoday's role was to keep civilizations frozen, limit growth, and stop progress, then turning against Celestia would make sense. Maybe she finally saw how terrible the system she was protecting really was. Knowing what we know now, we can look at the opening cutscene differently. Maybe Asmoday wasn't only stopping 2 people from escaping Teyvat. Maybe from her perspective, she was stopping something from leaving its assigned role. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. I'm your leafy lore keeper Minsleif, and I read the Genshin Impact lore so that you don't have to.